Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, alone tonight, but I am welcoming you to the Jolley Marriage Show, a special edition of the Jolley Marriage Show tonight, where I am talking about a special message to men. Well, I am grateful to be here. For those who are first timers, I am glad to be here. I'm Dr. Willie Jolley. I'm the co-author of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. And my wife and I have been married. June 28th will be 40 years. 40 years we have been married. Haven't had an argument in 38 years. And people don't believe it's true, but it's true. Haven't had an argument in 38 years. So we're very grateful for that. And we also are the host of a popular new TED Talk called How to Never Ever Argue Again in Marriage. You can see that on JolleyMarriage.com. It's about 12 minutes long, but it'll tell you our secret for not arguing. That doesn't mean we always agree, but we have figured out this formula, this system for not arguing, and it makes life so much better. So go to JolleyMarriage.com and watch the TED Talk absolutely free. Well, tonight is a special night, a unique night, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I recently was speaking at the Williams Memorial Church in High Point, North Carolina, and the pastor asked me about doing something he had been planning, thinking about, dreaming about for a long time. If I would come and speak to a special service with only men, to give men a message that would help empower, encourage, inspire, uplift them. And it turned out to be phenomenally successful. It was an incredible event. I was honored to be able to do it. And then I came back at the 11 o'clock service. This was at 7:30 in the morning. At 11 and did a message for the entire congregation, men and women. So I've been thinking about the response from the message to the men. I said, so many men reach out to me about issues they're having in their marriages. And I give them counsel, mentorship. Some say, I want you to coach me. They pay me to coach them to be more effective, have better marriage relationships. And it's been very helpful for them. And I'm grateful to do that. But I decided, I should do a special message for men on the marriage show, because we get so many men who have issues that if they knew a little bit of direction, or they knew a better way than what they've been doing, then it might go better. See, many people are only modeling what they saw growing up. That's all they know. And sometimes those lessons were not very successful. We had parents who argued all the time, or unfortunately, they had many examples of people who were abusive or getting hollering and screaming and throwing stuff, or other issues when in marriage, and how men should handle the marriage institution. So I said, you know what? I want to give them some things that I have been blessed to have been mentored in, to have learned, and at work. They work. So I'm going to go through the book and talk about the 10 steps. I hope we can get through it in the time allotted. The 10 steps from a man's perspective. I encourage every man, if you don't have a copy of the book, I encourage you to go get a copy. And of course, the wise men will get 2 copies. They get one for them and one for their wife, so that they can talk about. Because my wife, in each chapter of the book, all 10 steps, I tell the man's perspective or my perspective, details the woman's perspective or her perspective. And so it's best when y'all read it together. It has had a profound impact on marriages. Let's go right now. Take notes. And women, you can watch. In fact, I encourage women to, if they have men in their lives, that they can watch and tell the men this is look, if this is something that you think is going to be helpful, here's what you say. Do not say, listen carefully, do not say, ladies, to your male spouses, partners, boyfriends, or prospectives. Don't say, you need to hear this, yo. Don't do that. They will never listen. Here's what I want you to say. Listen carefully how I say it. Honey, sweetie, whatever you call them. I heard a message from Dr. Willie Jolley on his marriage show that I thought was outstanding. I'd like your opinion. Do it like that, and you'll stroke their ego, and they most often will watch. Once they watch, they'll get the information. Here we go. And gentlemen, if you're watching a replay, you just got that message sent to you, that's good, because you're going to get some information that will help you in your relationship. And I'm telling you, this works. What I'm about to tell you works, makes your life better, makes your life so much better. It makes your marriage better. Number one, friends first. It's hard to make a long-lasting, loving relationship in marriage with somebody you don't like. We have lots of friends in this world today. We got Facebook friends, and we got Instagram friends, and we got social media friends. But to be able to sustain a marriage, you need somebody who's your friend. And many marriages start because people get married for all sorts of reasons. Because somebody look good, gentlemen, let's talk real talk. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a real talk tonight. Sometimes men get married because women have boom, boom, bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? They are built in the right places. They got the curves in the right places, and you just get snookered. You get smitten. You get overwhelmed. Woo! And I'm gonna marry her. Or you have a sexual relationship with somebody and it makes your toes curl. I know what I'm talking about, gentlemen. And you say, I'm going to marry her, but you might not be friends. And let me tell you, gentlemen, if you're going to make the long haul, if it's going to be able to pass the test of time, you must be friends. And so what happens if you're married to someone who is not a good friend? Then you start working on that friendship. You make a point to become better friends with your significant other. A study by the National Bureau of Economic Studies in Canada, released in December 2014, found that if you want to be happily married, you need to make a point that the person you marry is your best friend. In the study, happiness was measured by three groups: newlyweds, those after the honeymoon phase who were married for a few years and able to maintain their happiness, and folks who were able to maintain their marriage and happiness during their middle age years, especially after the children had left the home. And it always went back to being good friends. So gentlemen, start befriending your wife. One of the things my pastor says, John Jenkins, First Baptist Church of Glen Arden, they've been married, I think 43 years, 44 years, somewhere, maybe 45 years. Anyway, he said he recommended getting into your spouse's world. Do things your spouses like to do. Talk about what they want to talk about. Go where they want to go. Try new experiences. He learned to like HGTV because his wife liked HGTV. And she learned to enjoy flying because he became a pilot and he loves to fly a plane. His plane. Enter into her world. The more you do, the better your life will be because you'll be befriending. Make the decision to work on your friendship. Find something in common. Make a list of the qualities you like in best friends, and then encourage your wife that these are things that really I enjoy and I want you to be a part of. Study your spouse. Study her. Find out what she likes, what moves her, and do more of that. And the things that tee her off, do less of that. And then read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It'll give you some real good tips on how to become a better friend. Let's go to part number two. Number two is Make God an equal part of your marriage. I believe a marriage is a triangle. It's a triangle. That's right. And the triangle has three sides. This side is man, this side is woman, this top is God. 33%, 33%, 34%. Everything in my marriage runs up through this arc. What would God say about it? What God say I should do? How should I handle this? God would get this. What would God say? God is an equal part of our marriage. And so we take that seriously. Make God an equal part of your marriage. Make your faith an equal part of your marriage. And when I spoke to the men in North Carolina, I said something to them. In the book of Joshua, he says, for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And so I tell people, when they come to visit my home, when my son over the years when he was in college, he would always bring somebody home. And even when he was in law school, he was bringing people. Some people even stayed here for months. But everybody knew that I had a single rule, that if you spend the night in my house on a Saturday night, Sunday morning, you got to go to church with me. That's not a negotiable. Because I didn't charge you rent. I didn't charge you for food, but you got to go to church with me. That's a non-negotiable. For me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And I put God first in all things. And I have learned in the difficult time. Men, listen carefully. I had a child. My first child I had when I was 19. I was not married. And then I got married to Dee 10 years later, or 18, 19. I got married when I was 28. And my daughter, by that time, was a teenager. And it was drama. Oh, it was drama. She was cool as long as I was dating Dee, but when we got married, everything got crazy. And that was because of some of the things that she had been conditioned with about step parents. She had heard things like that. And it got real crazy. And I didn't know what to do. I had this daughter who I loved, and I got this wife who I loved, and there's tension. I didn't know what to do. So I asked my mama. I went to my mom and said, what should I do? This is terrible. It's tearing me up apart inside. And my mama said, I've never been through that. Because when my mother got married, she was later in her life. She got married. She was in her late 30s. And then she got married. She had my brother. Then she had me. So she never experienced that. But she did give me wise counsel. Here's what she told me. She said, Willie, I don't have the answer, but I know where you can get the answer. Ooh, come on, somebody. She said, pray for wisdom. She said, over the years, when I didn't know what to do, I would always pray for wisdom. And God would give me the right thing to do. Gentlemen, my mama was so right. I prayed for wisdom, and he gave me wisdom how to handle this uncomfortable, difficult situation. And it worked. And now, years later, 40 years later, almost 40 years, my daughter and my wife are great. We got no drama. And so I encourage you, one, make God the head of your household. Two, every decision goes up through the arc of what would God do? What does he say in this triangle? Three, pray for wisdom. Gentlemen, it works. It works. Make God an equal part of your marriage. It will make a major difference. And understand, when you find a wife, gentlemen, Proverbs tells us, when you find a wife, you find a good thing, and God gives you favor on top of it. So when you find a wife, you find a good thing. And God will bless you with more favor as a result of it. And I always like to say, when you treat your wife like a queen, she'll treat you like a king. Let me say that again, gentlemen. When you treat your wife like a queen, she'll treat you like a king. All right? So take time to pray together and worship together and love each other as God loves us. And trust God. Do it. And then I also recommend Gentlemen, you read one proverb a day, every day. The day of the month, whatever it is. The day is the 18th. This morning I read the 18th proverb. I read it two ways, in the Message version and in the New King James Version. But the Message version really blesses me. Get the Message Bible and read a proverb a day. Tomorrow I'll read the 19th proverb. The next day, the 20th. I do that month after month. And each month I get encouraged. I get inspired. I'm telling you, man, gentlemen, it works. Number 3, decide to make it last. Love is an emotion. Marriage is a decision. Gentlemen, you're going to have moments in your marriage where you don't feel like being married. I'm telling you right now. But you got to decide. Marriage is a decision. See, the emotions change. Some days you're happy, some days you're sad, some days you're giddy, and some days you're not. The emotions, they go all over. That's human nature. So love is an emotion, but marriage is a decision. I decided to stay married. Now, has it been easy? No. It takes work. And the biggest work that it takes is be less selfish. And that's hard because we used to, and particularly the older you get, the more you're used to doing things the way you've always done them. But the less selfish you are, that's hard. So it's hard work. It's work. It's internal work. Or as my friend Johnny Parker says, it's hard work, which is heart work that you can do because you make up your mind to work on your heart. It's not busting bricks. It's not carrying those bricks to the quarry. It's work you do on your heart. And that, gentlemen, can be tough. But love is an emotion. Marriage is a decision. You know, people fall in like. Some people fall in and out of love. Falling in love is easy. But decision can be difficult. And you got to decide. It's a decision. The word decision is taken from the Greek word to cut. Make an incision, you cut in. Make a decision, you cut off. You got to cut off negative thinking, negative influence, people who aren't married, who aren't happily married. If I was you, man, I'd tell you what I do. Don't listen to them. If they're not happily married, do not listen to them. Period. Only talk to happily married people and men who have been there, who love their wives, who are grateful to God for their wife. I wake up every morning and say, thank you, God, for my wife. Thank you, God, for my wife. Because I believe it's a blessing. So you've got, gentlemen, to be grateful. Speak it to it. Speak it to your marriage. Speak it and decide to make it last. Make a commitment. Now, there's a difference between a commitment and a goal. See, many people say, I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to make a goal to stay married. No, goals you don't hit all the time. See, every year, 32 teams in the NFL set a goal to win the Super Bowl. Only one hits it, but they don't stop setting the goal. But marriage is not about a goal. It's about a commitment. It's about a promise. I made a promise. I made a vow. God, I take this woman for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and health, till death do us part. Many of you made the same vow. I take that woman for richer or poor, or health, sickness or health, till death do us part, for better or worse. What's worse? There's going to be maybe some worse that happens. You know, the Bible talks about the prophet whose wife kept running out on him and becoming a prostitute. But he did not give up on her. Because he said, I made a vow. I made a vow. And far too often people give up on marriage way too early. They give up on it because tough times happen, or somebody does something, or somebody makes a poor decision. No. You make a promise. Goals, you cannot hit the goal, but promises, you keep promises. And then compromise. My doctor said, Rodney Ellis said, his marriage is two imperfect people who trying to perfect compromise, and forgiveness. Two imperfect people who are working always to perfect compromise and forgiveness. You got to forgive them. Just forgive them. And they got to forgive you. No holding grudges. Okay? Make a verbal commitment to love each other. Stay married. Declare to each other that, to the world, that divorce, this, I told Dee when we got married, I said, look here. My wife had been married before. And I said, now, this time, this is it. We get married, this is it. Now, there is a way out. There is a way out. I'm going to tell you what it is. If you die, you're good to go. Okay. I said, if you die, you're good to go. Other than that, we in this for the rest of our lives. And we're going to work through. When you make the commitment that you're going to work through the challenges and not give up when things get a little rough, that you're going to work through it and you're going to commit to stay in it, folks, that's when your marriage strengthens. And then do not pass people who are not happily married. Be willing to compromise and make the commitment. Then communicate. Now, gentlemen, this is a big one. You got to communicate. You got to talk to each other. You got to talk to each other. The good, the bad, the ugly. You got to talk to each other. You got to have open and honest communication. Now, understanding, though, in the communication, that's why I want you to go see the TED Talk, because we got a 4F system for when you have to have critical, difficult conversations. Critical, difficult conversations, the 4 Fs. And gentlemen, you got to learn these 4 Fs. Number 1, be friendly. You got to have a difficult conversation. Your feelings are hurt. And many guys have a hard time saying, you hurt my feelings. They'll just shut it down. Stonewall. Not talk. I'm done talking. Now, when you stop talking, you're on your way to problems. You got to keep talking. But it starts with the 4 Fs. Or use these 4 Fs. Be friendly. Don't go in mad. Because when we go in mad, people put up defense mechanisms. Be friendly. Be frank about how it made you feel. If your feelings were hurt, say it. Gentlemen, I know it's sometimes hard for men to say, my feelings are hurt. But I say it when B does something, I say, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings. And when you work on that, you can show some vulnerability. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be the manly man all the time. You can have some vulnerability. And so say, you hurt my feelings. When you said this or you did that, here's how that made me feel. It made me feel devalued. It made me feel less than. It hurt my feelings. Be friendly. Be frank about how it makes you feel. Then be fair. Listen to their side as well as your side. Say, why did you say that? Why did you do that? And then listen. And you might discover, oh, wow, if I had just known that. And then last F is be friendly, be frank, be fair, be focused on a win-win. I was in Australia, spoke on an event with Dr. Stephen Covey, who wrote the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In the book, he said that one of the most effective ways to succeed and be successful is called win-win. Zig Ziglar said, when you help enough other people get what they want, you get everything you want. So every marriage should be a win-win. Try and look for the win-win. In fact, in the TED Talk, we say we don't attack each other anymore. We attack the problem. We gang up on the problem. The two of us together. And we fix it. So I'm encouraging you, talk to each other. No silent treatment. No stonewalling. No assumptions. Because when you assume, you know what that makes you? Yeah, right. Y'all know what it means. ASS. Out of you and me, okay? And then no muckraking. What is that? Going back and finding stuff that happened years ago. No, sweet talk each other. Have integrity in your conversations. Give each other personal space. If somebody say, I don't want to talk right now about that, give them some space. Okay, give them space. Say, okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, because you got to give people respect. It's like personal space. Give them some space. And then understand that selling. I'm selling my wife all the time on values. We don't have no drama. We have a no drama zone in our house. No drama. If you're feeling angry, upset, Take a deep breath before you say anything. Remember, words are like toothpaste, gentlemen. Once they're out of the tube, you can't put them back. And sometimes sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. That's a lie. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will break hearts. So be careful what you say. Don't say it in anger. If you feel angry, don't let those words come out of your mouth. Do not let them, because sometimes they will never be forgiven. Okay? Don't say it. And don't call somebody out their name, and don't talk about their mama, don't talk about their family. Don't say anything in anger, anything. It'll come back to bite you. Lower your voice. Take a deep breath. One time I had to go for a ride. I said, I got to go for a ride. I'll be back. I'm coming back, but I got to go for a ride. Be sweet to each other. Sweet talk each other. It works. All right, the next one is leave the drama with your mama. Now, they're drama queens, but gentlemen, there's such things as drama kings as well. Years ago, we were having a counseling, not really counseling. We don't do marriage counseling, we do marriage mentoring. And a lot of people pay us to say, we want you to mentor us. And they pay us. But we were mentoring this couple, and the wife said that the husband, who was an easygoing guy, and the wife is very perky and upbeat, always going. She said, but when they argued, he would go into her weak spot, her Achilles heel. She had daddy issues because the father left the family, and he would threaten to leave her. And she knew she'd fall apart. And she said, it's not fair. It's not fair. And so he promised, okay, I won't do that anymore. But the next argument they had, when it got tight, he went back to his old modus operandi. And went back to, I'm going to leave you. And she said, but you promised. And you know what? They ended up getting a divorce, because once the trust was broken, she said, I'm not ever going back to that situation again. She left because he didn't keep his word. Gentlemen, you know, we talk about him in the book, and you should read the book about how Dee and I stopped arguing over Chinese food. She said, I don't like people hollering at me. And so that day to this, that's over 38 years, I had never raised my voice to her. And I said, I don't like people threatening me, because she had threatened to leave me because we had a disagreement about Chinese food. And she has never threatened to leave me before. And if she did leave me, I'm going to come with her. I told her, you leave me, I'm coming with you. But we made the promise. We have never broke our trust. If you say it, keep your word. This is a big one, gentlemen. I got to take some time here. We got drama kings who won't keep their word. Gentlemen, you got to keep your word. You got to keep your word. You got to keep your word. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you say you're going to be there, be there. Period. Full stop. Write it down. Take it to the bank. Done. When I got married to Dee, she wanted to get an apartment. And I said, no, there'll be money just going down the drain. We need to save our money for a house. And if we pay for an apartment, then we won't be able to save the money for the house. How about this? Live in my mama's house for 1 year in the attic. An attic with no bathroom on that floor. Had to go down these little teeny-weeny steep steps to get to the bathroom in the middle of the night. But I said, you do it for 1 year, I'll buy you a home. I talked to her and told her, if you trust me, I'll buy you a home. A year from the date we got married, we moved into our home. Gentlemen, if you say it, keep your word. Many women come and say, you know, he didn't keep his word. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. If you say it, you got to do it. Now, if you don't think you can do it, don't say it. I say, you know, I'll work on it, or I'm trying, or I'm thinking about it. But don't, when you say, I'm going to do, boom, you got to do it. So leave the drama with your mama. You got to do it. Here's a big one. Make your significant other feel significant. Gentlemen, talk good about your wives. Speak good about them in public. Here's a good one, gentlemen. And this is a good one. When people, this is a secret, gentlemen. When people ask you in public how long you've been married, here's your answer. This wins. Say, not long enough. Woo! Woo! Gentlemen! Oh! Y'all know, you ever seen me speak, I always speak about D, and I say, you know what? When I talk about my bride, I get weak in my knees. I crawl over broken glass to get to that woman. If she leave me, I'm coming with her. I'm talking about her good all the time. Now, I'm not just saying it to say it. I really believe it, but it does help. I speak about her all the time. I make her significant. I tell her how good she looks. I told her this morning. I said, you sure look good. Whoo, you look good. She's on her way to yoga. I said, you look good. You look good. Look, gentlemen, do it often. It really does help, okay? That's an antidote to drama. Be considerate. And then forgiveness. We already talked about that. Now, about disagreeing. This is a big one. About disagreeing. When you disagree, how are you going to handle this? So I told you Chinese food. We were arguing. Remember this line, gentlemen. Dial it back. When you're feeling that anger rise up in you, you feel the heat coming on you, take a breath and dial it back. Dial the volume down. Dial the tension down. Dial it back. When you read, I don't have time, you'll hear the story on the TED Talk about the Chinese food, but I learned to dial it back, and it made such a big difference. And understand you got to set some rules of engagement. Rules of engagement, gentlemen, that means when you disagree, there's certain things that are below the belt. So like that guy would always go back to the daddy issues that was below her belt. And he went to them all the time, even though he knew they were her tender spot. When your wife says, this is below the belt, never go there. If it's calling her out of her name, never go there. Some women say, I don't like you cussing at me. Never go there. No, I don't like you hollering at me. These things, I don't like you raising your voice. Never go there. Whatever it is, these are the rules of engagement, and you never betray the trust of the rules of engagement. But you both, now here's important though, you both have to have equal rules of engagement. If she gets one rule, you get one rule. If you get two rules, she gets two rules. Get it? Okay, gentlemen, this works. And then this is a big one. Whatever your issue is, settle before you go to bed. All the old people are happily married, been married 40, 50, 60 years, said, never go to bed angry with each other. Don't carry the day's problems into tomorrow. Fix it now. Gentlemen, fix it now. The Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Whatever the issue is, D and I fix it before we go to bed. And we don't have the issue anymore. We work through that. Hey, I have some quotes here. Your word establishes credibility. Rick Miller says, my God, thank you, Rick. Your words, Dwayne Hart. Dwayne said, we have to realize that our next is our representative as well. And so put your representative as that number one. Okay, so great. Okay, that's right, gentlemen. Choose not to see every little thing as a big problem. Pick your battles, gentlemen. You ain't got to argue about everything. It's not worth arguing about. No thank you. I'm not worried. She wanted deep cleaning up. I mean, she's moving stuff all the time. I don't worry about that. I mean, these are things. These are minor things. Don't major in the minors or minor in the majors. Don't let the little things, let them be little, and don't blow up about it. Be quick to forgive, forget, and move on. Work on win-win relationships. And then how to handle a stalemate. Now, this one is interesting because I learned it from my parents. Look, there are going to be times in your marriage you want to go left, your spouse, your wife, or your spouse, your partner wants to go to right. You want to go left, they want to go right. You want to go left, they want to go right. Which way do you go? Well, let me tell you how I work with that. 9 times out of 10, I go the way D wants to go. Why? Because I trust her. She's my trusted advisor. And that came from when I was growing up. My dad would be driving the car. And back when we were little, the car was a 1956 Chevy. Okay? In a 1956 Chevy, it was his old jitney he would ride around in. My mom had a newer Ford, but he had this old jitney. And he'd ride around there and get on the highway. Now, the 1956 Chevy had a mirror here, but no mirror on that side. Had a mirror on this side and a mirror here, but no mirror on that side. And so when they were going down the highway, my dad would say, can I get over? My mom would roll that window down, had to roll it down, no electric window. She'd stick her head out the window. She'd say either yes or no. And he would listen to her direction as to whether he could get over or not. And he trusted her to give him wise direction. That's how I am with D. And 9 times out of 10, if I say, we have a disagreement, I want to go this way, I say, why you want to go that way? 9 times out of 10, she'll say, I said, that makes sense. Okay, let's go that way. Makes sense. Now, well, one thing I asked her for when we got married, listen, gentlemen, listen. I asked her for veto power. I said, I need veto power. What does that mean? She want to go that way. I want to go this way. I've listened to her way. I've thought about it. But I know it's not the right way. And I'll say, we got to go this way. Trust me on this one. I asked for veto power, and I promised her, I promised her that I would never betray the trust. I would never abuse it. And in 40 years, I've used it maybe 5 times, and each time I had to deal with the kids. Something with the kids where I said, no, we got to do that. I know it's hard. We got to spend that money. We got to go the extra mile on this. We got to do it. And it turned out to be right. Okay, a couple more. We're over time, but these are good. Next chapter is, you know what? I tell you what. I tried to keep it in the time. Part 2 next week. How's that? Put it in the chat real good. Would y'all like to have part 2 of this real quick? I got to talk about sex. And I cannot fly by sex. I cannot speed by, gentlemen, how important it is to understand about sex and what women need and how you can have a better sex life. So do y'all want me to do part 2 next week? All right, I'm getting in there. Oh, man, they're coming in. Good stuff. Of course, part 2. Yes. People in on Instagram are saying yes. Okay, that's it. Next week, we're going to do part 2 of the message to men. Tell everybody to tune in. I'll do a recap, and then we'll go right through to chapter number 7, 8, 9, and 10. But the sex chapter, wait till I get to that, because that's a wow chapter. You're going to be excited. Well, thank y'all. Remember, everybody, go to jollymarriage.com. Jollymarriage.com. Watch the TED Talk. Well, we get such great comments. Tim Blair said it don't take a minute to get it right. Come on now. Gladys says yes. Gladys Pemberton, yes. Yvonne Williams, yes. Greg Kazera said good stuff, yes. Are you on YouTube? Yes. Cafe Diva, the Jolley Marriage Show on YouTube. You can watch the replays there on the Jolley Marriage Show on YouTube. Thank you for asking. So go to jollymarriage.com. Get the book. Get 2 copies. Do it now. Do it tonight. I highly recommend it. We'll send it to you. You'll have it for next week, and you'll have it in your hand. Also, go to see the TED Talk. And if you got a marriage issue that you need fixing, you need it fixed like a relationship issue, go to jollymarriage.com/events. jollymarriage.com/events. And get the marriage repair series. It's 5 sessions on communication, on finances, on sex and romance, on family matters, and then on blended families. And then a bonus session on the 11 biggest mistakes people make in relationships and how to fix them. It's worth every penny. Go get that. Thank you. Jewel Moore, thank you. Good to see you again as well. Timothy Dunn, thank you. Where's Miss D? Miss D is off tonight because this is a message for men. But I guess she might sit in next week because she might have to throw in a few things. But this is a message for men tonight, and we'll do part 2 next week. Hey, have a great week on purpose. God bless y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Tell everybody about this. I got to read one more. Dwayne Hart said, what I gather most is that we should all strive for success. So how can we be successful when dealing with women? That means talking, making decisions, and learning a person. And learning a person helps us to become successful. We should think about 360 degrees. Amen. Say, come back, Miss D. Bless you. Thank you. We'll see y'all next week.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? just like me. They long to be close to you.